Next Monday, June 11th, Star Wars Reading Club is reviewing The Last Jedi novelization by Jason Fry, and we're giving away 2 copies of the novel to go with the review. One copy will be available exclusively for the Patreon members of the channel, and the other copy will be available for the entire audience of Star Wars Reading Club. For a chance to win a copy of the novel, all you have to do is leave a comment down below telling me who your favorite Jedi is by Sunday, June 10th at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. A like on this video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so would also be greatly appreciated. The 2 winners of the novel will be announced the next day on June 11th at the review. Best of luck, and let's get to today's video. Based solely on appearances, one might think that the double-bladed lightsaber was far more advantageous than its single-bladed counterpart. Certainly, the double-bladed version of the weapon could allow for a faster rate of attack, wherein a rapid succession of strikes could be delivered in only a few movements. Further, it could offer greater defensive abilities, as the extra blade would be used to provide an additional surface for which to block, deflect, and parry incoming lightsaber strikes. Overall then, the double-bladed lightsaber, despite its lack of use by the majority of lightsaber users, seemed to offer far more options in a duel, and these greater options would thus make it more advantageous than a single-bladed lightsaber. However, although it did provide more options and had a few key advantages over the single-blade version of the weapon in regards to its damage output, the two-bladed weapon was not far superior when compared to the single-bladed lightsaber. In this video expose, I will discuss this topic and describe the realities of the double-bladed lightsaber as they were taught to Darth Bane by one of the greatest lightsaber duelists and instructors of his era. Wishing to become the best lightsaber duelist at the Sith Academy on Korriban, Bane, who had not yet risen to adopt the title of Darth, began going to the Sith Blademaster Kas'im for private lessons secretly. As Sith Blademaster, Kas'im was the leading lightsaber combat instructor at the Korriban Academy. Knowledgeable in all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, Kas'im was the greatest lightsaber duelist in the Sith Order during the final years of the new Sith Wars. So of course, Kas'im had extensive knowledge of the techniques needed to master the use of the double-bladed lightsaber, and in one of the private lessons in which he tutored Bane, he deployed the weapon against the aspiring Sith Lord. During the lesson, although Bane had clearly been improving, he still could not penetrate the defenses of Kas'im. This prompted Bane to ask if it was his two-bladed lightsaber specifically that was giving him the advantage. At first, the Blademaster was cryptic in his answer, telling Bane that it did give him an advantage, but not in the way that he believed it did. Seeing that Bane wasn't grasping the lesson, Kas'im explained that a lightsaber duel was decided primarily by one's strength in the Force. But technically speaking, it was the duelist who was better trained in lightsaber combat and thus had more moves and options available to them who would generally emerge from the fight victorious. Wishing to apply the lesson to his own thoughts about double-bladed lightsabers versus the single-bladed weapon, Bane asked the Blademaster if he meant then that the 2 blades provided more options. At this point, Kas'im described the truth behind double-bladed and single-blade lightsaber combat. Bane's instructor told him that in actual practice, double-bladed lightsabers are significantly more limited than the traditional single-blade lightsaber. They could do more damage certainly, and in the hands of a master, its offensive output could be overwhelming, but the weapon was less precise and did not transition well into stabs or thrusts. In reality, all a lightsaber duelist had to do was keep track of the location of a single blade, as by knowing the location of one, the duelist would automatically know the location of the other, and thus could easily defend against both blades. Therefore, as learned by Bane, the double-bladed lightsaber was not more advantageous in comparison to the traditional lightsaber, and in many ways, single-bladed lightsabers were far preferable. So then why would anyone use the two-bladed lightsaber instead of the traditional single-bladed version? Going back to the Blademaster's original lesson to Bane, the advantage of the double-bladed lightsaber was that it gave the impression that it provided more options to those unfamiliar with its techniques. Because so many lightsaber users only mastered the techniques of the traditional lightsaber, the double-bladed weapon seemed overwhelming, and their lack of knowledge of the weapon meant that they didn't know how to attack or defend against it effectively. Stated simply, the double-bladed lightsaber was less advantageous than the single-bladed lightsaber. But because so few ever practiced against it or became proficient enough in the techniques utilized by the two-bladed weapon, lightsaber users would often struggle against it in the heat of combat and become overwhelmed by the weapon they didn't fully understand. So there we have it. Why double-bladed lightsabers were technically inferior to single-bladed ones, yet still offered advantages to their users. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive hangouts and book discussions. If not for me... For non-traditional lightsabers.